development program. The draft title is Leadership and Diversity, but I think that's going to be changed to something slightly different, but the meaning is the same, and it'll give middle leaders an opportunity for about 6 hours of leadership development training, only for 15 people. So I will email you all about that. Our lovely Vicky, who's doing the session today, is building the web page for me. Hopefully not as we speak, but very sure. But I'll tell you all about that once we can release the page. And also at the bottom of the screen here, you'll see the 2 new support programs that we're running for anyone with box-based beneficiaries. So one is a bid writing support program. It's in conjunction with Isabel White, who's got 30 years experience in writing bids, and that's a pro bono service for about 10 charities we've got space for. And then the Charity Excellence program is a bespoke strategy and governance guidance program, again for about 10 charities, and also pro bono to non-for-profits with box-based beneficiaries. So do feel free to go onto those websites. I've sent you out the links, and just reach out to us about those, and if we can help you, we most certainly will. Okay, Jackson's just joining us from Oasis. Excellent. I think we should probably expect another person, but let us begin because Vicky's got a lot to get through. So I'd like to introduce you to Vicky White. Vicky is the founder and director of White Communications, which is a really great company based in the High Wycombe area. She does a lot of work for us. She spends a couple of days a week doing work for the Clare Foundation and has a lot of experience supporting the not-for-profit sector, and has done very, very successful workshops for us and for others in the past all around this topic. So today's session should be really, really good. She'll stop for questions and various points throughout the session, but I know what I'm like, I forget my questions, so do feel free to pop them into chat. And the only thing I then have to remember is when she stops for questions to go into the chat and check what those questions were and make sure that I ask them. If you don't want to share a question publicly, but you'd like me to ask Vicky in this session, feel free to just privately message me, and I won't mention your name if for any reason you don't want to do that. And on that lovely note, I'm going to hand you over to wonderful Vicky. Have a very good session. Thank you very much, Vicky, for coming along today.
Thank you for having me. Right, I'll just share my screen with you. Do you need to enable screen share, Karen?
Oh, have I not made you a co-host? That's like 101 in hosting a webinar. I think by now I know what to do.
There we go. Okay, can everyone see that? Okay, yeah. Great, so I'll just start off with a bit of a kind of introduction to me. So I have 10 years plus experience in particularly working with small businesses with their marketing, helping in all kind of areas from social media to SEO to website maintenance. And I work a lot with local small businesses, but also charities, helping them to build their online presence. I work as a consultant, so I come in for kind of one-time projects, also a trainer, so I deliver some workshops and one-to-one training. Project manage a lot of bigger kind of marketing campaigns, making sure that all the kind of specialists are working together and delivering what needs to be done. And I'm also an implementer, so I drive marketing campaigns for clients as well. So I'm really passionate about working with charities. It's one of kind of the core focus areas that I really enjoy working with. I find it very rewarding to see kind of the results that come out of the work that I do. As Karen mentioned, I'm a marketing specialist for the Clare Foundation. So again, I kind of work with them on all areas from social media, email campaigns, helping them to kind of manage their website, making sure that everything's being promoted as and when they happen. I'm not just, it's not just myself within my company, so I have 2 other consultants that work with me from a kind of creative and content background. So we work together, and we have done for years, to deliver campaigns. So I just included a couple of little quotes here that kind of mean something to me and kind of represent my personality and kind of what I do. A lot of what I do with small businesses, a lot of them are on their own. They're kind of one-man bands that feel like they are alone within their business and kind of need that support. So I work with them and just let them know that kind of I'm here for kind of anything to do with kind of marketing and sometimes other business areas that I can kind of direct them to the right place. And then again, if you're not making someone else's life better, you're living yours wrong. So again, that's why I love working with charities and the kind of smaller businesses, because I enjoy helping people. So key areas that we're covering today. So why use social media for your charity? Obviously a big point that we're going to be covering, along with kind of how you're going to build your followers to increase your post reach. Again, if you're new to social media, you've just set up your channels or your kind of followers are quite low, we'll be looking at how you can kind of build your following to get your kind of messages out there to a wider audience. And social media content ideas, so how and when to post, it's really important. You obviously want to have the biggest impact. You want to see return on investment in terms of the time that you're putting in. So we'll be looking at some kind of ideas around content and visuals and everything around that to drive engagement, drive visits to your website and areas like that. And then social media visuals. So I've got a couple of tools that I've kind of put together in this presentation to kind of guide you and help you to create those kind of visual posts. A few time-saving tools as well. Obviously with social media, we all know that it takes a lot of time. So making sure that you've got the right tools in place that can assist you with that is really important. And of course, measuring your activity, again, really important to make sure you're kind of looking back at what you've done and the insights and the performance that you've achieved to then refine kind of your strategy to be able to move forward and have an even bigger impact than you've already had. And there are some other things that we'll be covering as well along the way, but these are kind of the main core areas.
Can we launch the poll now, Vicky?
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Go. So there should be a poll coming up on your screen. You can just put your answer in so that we can have an idea of where we all are with our knowledge. Looks like the target market was reached. That was pretty much what we wanted, Vicky. Okay, let me just end that poll. Pretty much everyone has responded, and I'll share those results with you. So yeah, pretty much what the target market for this project, this session's of wonderful.
This is good. It's always quite worrying when you think, what if you have somebody at the kind of everyone at the lower level and then half at the higher level, so it's kind of quite average in terms of abilities to social media, so all good. So if I just get rid of this now, Karen.
Yeah, should be gone now. Yeah.
Yeah, shall I remove it?
Yes, please.
Okay, good. So why use obviously social media for your charity? Some really kind of core areas here. One of them being increasing kind of your online visibility with the kind of vast number of people that are on social media. If you're not using it, you're not reaching out to kind of your target market. So it's great for you to increase your visibility, not just on social media, but also on search engines. Search engines do pick up the activity that goes onto your social media channels. So again, it's great at kind of covering all the kind of online channels. And engaging with your audience, obviously really kind of a key area. So rather than just posting out, it's really important that you are posting and engaging. There's a lot of kind of ways that you can engage, whether it's liking, commenting, sharing. when it comes to kind of sharing posts, thinking about what your kind of audience want to see. And there are some kind of tips for you to kind of use with that. With Twitter, you've got Twitter lists. So with Twitter lists, you can actually create kind of a target audience within specific lists. So they might be clients, customers, they might be key partners, and it's a great way to kind of tap into what your audience are doing to enable you to then easily engage and share. There might be kind of industry media channels that you want to engage with. Again, create a list, list out those kind of key industry media, and just it's an easy way for you to see their feed and what they're posting about. Reaching a new audience, obviously really important. So you might have already connected and engaged with your current customers, your partners, your suppliers, whoever they might be. But it's also obviously important that you're enabling yourself to kind of reach an audience outside of your current network. Lots of ways of doing that. You can use the individual social media search tools, and that picks up using kind of keywords, hashtags. If you type that into the search tool, you'll come up with a list of people who are related to those kind of keywords. When you are posting, making sure that you're using hashtags. There are hashtag tools out there on each individual channel that help you to identify the hashtags that are trending, the hashtags that have the most use, so the people that are using them the most, and they are specific, can be specific to your audience. So it's making sure you're tapping into those hashtags. Also, when you're posting, making sure you're using kind of the @ symbols when you're talking and relating to kind of other businesses, other charities, other people, by kind of tagging and using their name. You'll obviously then hopefully allow them to kind of reshare your posts and engage in your posts. Building relationships, obviously, with your supporters. Again, that's kind of making sure that you're engaging consistently with the people who you want to connect with. There might be connections that you already have, or there might be new connections. So it's all about making sure you're consistently getting kind of your name, your brand, your charity out there in the social media feeds. And it's all about building trust and loyalty as well, which is really key here. So you want to kind of let others, your network, know that you're kind of a trusting and loyal charity, doing great things, and making them feel a part of what you're doing. It's obviously great to share news, events. You can help, you can inspire. So it's again looking at kind of what you can post that will really encourage people to kind of get involved. And again, increasing website visits. So when you are posting, sharing these news, sharing the events, making sure you're always including links to your website, which is really important. I mean, it is great sometimes to just share maybe an image or something like that, but when you are talking about a particular topic or something, a newsworthy topic around your charity, that you are adding in your website link. And that might be to your homepage, or it might be to a page that has a sign-up form on it, but always direct them to that page that's specific and related to the content that you're sharing. Social media channels. Every business and charity, well, with most of them, think they have to be on every single social media channel, and that is not the case. It's important that you always look at where your target audience are, which channel are they using. And we will look at in a moment at your target audience and helping you to kind of refine that. But there are generally 3 different categories. You've got your professional category, where you'll be using LinkedIn and Twitter on a more kind of professional, serious note. So you'll be looking at using a different tone than you would on other channels. And the creative tools, obviously there are a lot more out there than there ever have been. So these particular channels are great when you're using kind of video, when you're using kind of more of your fun and fun visuals that might have humour. So they're more of a kind of a natural, more relaxed kind of way of communicating to your audience. And then you've got obviously the more kind of educational side of social media. So when you're wanting to kind of educate your audience, and that might be kind of top tips or guidance or kind of leadership or provoking features, then you might look at maybe using LinkedIn and YouTube to kind of educate your audience. So again, as I said, you don't have to be on every single channel. It really does depend on where your audience are. It might be that you, if you're kind of wanting to be more creative, you know, you produce more videos, you produce more kind of visual, fun content, that Facebook, Instagram and YouTube and TikTok are the ones that you'll be having your core focus on, but then now and again you might tap into kind of LinkedIn and Twitter for kind of other bits and pieces, but it's all about having a kind of a core focused channel. So social media strategy and planning, really important. A lot of charities and businesses, they just literally jump onto social media and start posting. There's no strategy behind it. There are no goals. There are no plans in place to make sure that the time you're spending, even the money you might be spending on advertising, is going to bring in the best return on investment. So I really suggest at the beginning, before you start a social media campaign, that you look at some clear focus points before you do that and start mapping things out. So setting clear and measurable objectives and targets, and it might be the number of people that you want to share posts, the number of likes that you have, and the number of followers that you want over a certain period. And targets, you know, and it might be that you want a certain amount of website visitors or sign-ups to an event or a fundraising target, whatever it might be. Setting kind of these out are going to be really important to make sure that you're kind of planning as you go along. So establishing your target audience and which channels they are using. It's going to be a little exercise that we'll do after this slide. But again, as I've mentioned, making sure that you're using the channels where your target audience sits. And we'll look at kind of other things around that. And it's all about kind of thinking about their personality, their interests, how they like to be spoken to, so the tone of voice. And we'll come on to that in a minute. So when should you post as well? Again, quite important. So my clients are really diverse, but posting for them at a certain time of day is going to be different. So some clients that I work with, their target audience are generally on social media in the morning and in the evening. Some of them are more during the day, some might be weekends. It's all really important to make sure that you're posting at the right time. So tone of voice and types of content, we have tapped into this, but it's all about thinking about your target audience and how they want to receive information. So you've obviously got the younger kind of audience that might communicate better with video. So then you might be on TikTok and YouTube, maybe doing a bit of Instagram. And then you've maybe got the older kind of audience, the more professional audience that might be more on kind of LinkedIn and Instagram. So it's all about thinking about the types of content that you want to use and how you're talking to your audience. So, yeah, growing your following, again, we've touched on this a little bit, but it's all about looking at how you can build your following base. And that might be looking at kind of your current contact lists and making sure that you're connecting sending maybe an initial message to say, we'd love for you to kind of follow us. You can keep in touch with us about what's going on. You might want to kind of look at using, I mentioned again, the search tools on the social media channels to identify where your target market are and sending connections. On LinkedIn, it's a little bit different because you're targeting individuals. But again, when you are connecting on LinkedIn, making sure the message is personalised to that person. I don't know about you, but I get many messages on LinkedIn, which I know has just been copied and pasted and sent to hundreds of people. And I'm just not interested in connecting with people in that way. So it's all about being kind of personalised. And then you've got kind of social media tools, so thinking about what tools that you need to run your social media campaigns. Again, we'll touch on that later on. I've got a couple of good tools for kind of visuals and managing the time. Again, so we will come on to that, but it's all about setting this out in your strategy to make sure you've got those set and they're going to work for you in the right way. And then competitor analysis, again, it's always great to look and see what other charities are doing, maybe look at some of the charities that are in a similar area, look at their feeds, what posts are generating the most engagement and the most likes, what is it that their audience are really engaging with that you can kind of replicate, what types of content are they sharing, what visuals are they using. It's always great to do a competitor analysis, and it doesn't mean that you duplicate what they're doing, it's just to help you generate some ideas. So when you come and move into kind of putting together a bit of a social media content plan, you've got some ideas already there to help you to kind of drive content. So I know sometimes it can be quite challenging to think about, oh, do I post, what do we post today, what have we got going on? So again, we will look at creating kind of content plans as well later on. Algorithms, again, not a lot of people know about algorithms when it comes to social media. So social media have built-in algorithms that don't just promote your posts based on how many followers you have. It's all about the quality of what you're delivering and whether these social media channels find that your audience are going to be really interested in it. So when you are posting, it's important you try and drive as much engagement as possible. I don't know if you've all heard of them, but there are a lot of LinkedIn pods going around at the moment. I'm part of a couple. And what that is, it's a group of people, so there are about 30 of us in a LinkedIn pod, and we post once a week at the same time every week, and we all engage in each other's posts. And the engagement and the activity that's happened because of this LinkedIn pod on my LinkedIn has really helped. And it's the same with other channels like Twitter and Facebook. So if you can try and really push people to kind of really engage with your posts, and it might be you asking them questions, it's all about thinking about how you can engage and get people to comment and like and share and get involved in your post, because that is what is going to help your post to reach all the people within your audience. And then again, reviewing and refining your strategy. So once you've put your strategy together, it's important, I'd probably say every quarter, to go back at your strategy and look at all these elements to see what's worked, what hasn't worked, what's new, are there new trends, are there new channels? Obviously we mentioned TikTok. TikTok is becoming massive. I did a webinar on it last week, and it's definitely something I'm going to be looking to introduce to some of my clients. So it's all about going back and making sure that what you're doing is delivering what you want and the goals that you've set, that you're achieving them, and making sure you're refining things to making sure that the next quarter you're going to be delivering an even better impact.
Vicky, we've got a question, if that's okay.
Yep.
Are there any benchmarks for small charities social media targets? For example, 30% of website traffic from social media.
Yeah, I think there isn't anything generic for small businesses. I think it does depend on the individual charity and where you are with your website, with your social media. If you're just starting out, you know, your benchmarks might be really different than a charity that has been on social media for 10 years and have a kind of a really singing and dancing website. So yeah, unfortunately there isn't anything kind of generic, but I can, you know, certainly help in terms of going away and looking and supporting you with that as an individual charity.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions at the moment? Sort of thought we'd pause here and just kind of see if there's anything that anybody has to ask at this point.
Feel free to unmute yourself and just ask, or put your hand up if you prefer. I think we're good, Vicky.
Sorry, Vicky,
oh, no.
no, I do have a question. I'm sorry. I haven't got my video, but it's Nasmin. Hello. Hi. Sorry, I had a question around LinkedIn because I don't actually use LinkedIn at the moment. We currently use Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and I'm missing one. Instagram. Anyway, the point is I don't actually use LinkedIn at the moment. I just wonder what's the purpose of, because I know that you said it was quite for professionals, wasn't it? So
yeah. So what's your role within the charity?
So I actually work for Health Watch Leicester and Health Watch Leicestershire. So we basically collect patient and public voice. So we always, you know, ask for people about their views about health and social care services. So I'm not sure whether you think LinkedIn would be quite a good platform, but it's just because you mentioned this linked pod, which I think is quite a good idea.
Yeah. So LinkedIn, yeah, it's for professionals. So if you're working within an organisation and you have a role to play, then you should be on LinkedIn. It's great for more kind of business to business marketing rather than business to consumer. So LinkedIn's great for building your kind of professional relationships, if you like. So I communicate with some of my kind of contacts that I have, the partners that I have. So I've got a business coach, another kind of a marketing coach that I work with. So I build relationships with them, and it's all about for me to try and kind of encourage and get my name out there. That kind of recommend. So it is more for business to business in terms of building relationships with the businesses that you work with rather than the consumers.
Okay, thank you. That's useful. Thank you.
So I've got a little exercise here, which I think will really help to kind of kick off if you haven't already got a kind of a social media strategy, but it also help down the line when we come to look at hashtags. So that if you all want to spend kind of 5 minutes and just thinking about your current, you know, your audience profile and what they might look like. How's everyone getting on?
I think most people look like Lisa on their screens, like they're.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, so I think this is kind of really important to kind of identify your audience profile, because you know, when you're thinking about kind of location, it's important that, you know, if you're targeting people in a location, that when you're posting, you're including that location within your post. You'll notice on Instagram and on Twitter that you'll have the option to add a location in there. So it's always important to make sure you're featuring in the feeds for people that are in that location, including that in there. When you think about kind of interests, it might be that you're kind of, when you're using social media, that your hashtags include those interests, because when people are using social media, they're generally looking at things around topics that they're interested in. When it comes to kind of the industry that they're working with, again, using hashtags. So obviously for the Clare Foundation, a lot of our hashtags are based around kind of using the charity keywords for charity events, charity guidance, charity tips, charity support. It's always making sure that you're including the particular industry in there. When it comes to personality, obviously thinking, you know, are your target audience wanting to be spoken to with a kind of a humour? Do they like the kind of more serious tone? Do they like to watch videos? Do they need tips and guidance, or do they need more kind of facts and stats? So thinking about what types of personalities your audience have, and the tone of voice and the content that you're giving them is right. Again, the language. So I know a lot of charities that I speak to, their audience speak different languages. So I would suggest be looking at each social media tool to see if there's a way that you can translate your posts into different languages. I know which channel it is. There's one that kind of automatically does it for you. But again, happy to kind of help with that outside of this if that's a specific area that you feel you need some help with. And challenges. It's all about sometimes finding out what your audience challenges are and feeding them the right content that's kind of helping them and supporting them with their challenges. And that might be a video, or it might be a link to an article. And then looking at kind of job title, and that's probably more when you're looking at kind of LinkedIn and the people that you want to engage with. And it might be also with your hashtags. So obviously the Clare Foundation, middle leaders, middle managers, kind of the job titles that we use within the hashtags to target those particular people. Okay. So what to post and how. I know kind of a lot of businesses, they sit down to start to do their social media and they spend about an hour trying to think of what to post. So one of the kind of things that you can do is you can create a calendar of activity. So it might be at the beginning of the week, it might be at the beginning of the month. You produce a template, maybe in Excel or Word, however you prefer, and you kind of write down some ideas of maybe what's happening that month, and you might have kind of the date or the person that's going to be managing that post. You might have links to some visuals that you want to use, and it's just all about coming up with some ideas. So you've got some thoughts about what you're going to be posting throughout the week or month, so you're not struggling or spending a lot of time every day thinking about what to post. Tagging others, so it might be within your post as well, and you can include this in your calendar template, who you need to tag into the post and what their tag is. So it might be kind of at the Clare Foundation or at whoever it might be, but making sure that you've got those kind of all set and ready to go, and making sure kind of you're using them within your posts. What happens when you tag somebody in your posts, they'll then be notified that you tagged them, and it then encourages them to share. And once they share your post, it then features on their timeline to their audience. And again, it's almost like a ripple effect, and it can carry on and on and on. So it's important that you're always tagging others. You don't necessarily have to tag someone that's related to the post. It might be you want to tag somebody else that might find the post interesting, or it might be you're tagging somebody or people that you kind of want them to get involved or want to get your name out there to them. So it's always important to look at kind of tagging.
There's a question here, Vicky. Is there such a thing as over tagging?
Yes and no. You can tag quite secretly in the background, particularly on Instagram. When you're tagging lots and lots of people, maybe look at tagging the image rather than actually within the content itself. Because when you're tagging the image, it sits behind the scenes. Wanting to kind of do that, I would probably suggest where you're using an image to tag the image. Yeah, it almost depends what your sort of post is about. Again, if all the people that you've tagged are going to find it interesting, then great. With Instagram, sometimes when you write your post, You can kind of return a few times, add maybe some emojis, return again, and then add all your tags so they're right at the bottom. So that way, when people kind of see your post as they're scrolling down, they don't see lots of tags. I wouldn't suggest just posting and in your content only having tags. I think that, you know, that doesn't seem quite genuine. I think if you're going to use lots of hashtags, making sure that they're at the bottom and you've got a good chunk of content about what your post is about at the top.
Thank you.
Hi, Vicky. Can I ask a really quick question?
Yeah.
My question is this. As part of, I work part-time, and I'm always trying to work out how long I should dedicate to social media work. Because it's one of those things where I think I get all involved in it and then I could forget my day job and then I'm reacting to. Is it something where you would possibly suggest dedicating a particular amount of time, like you said, in the day or a week? How often would you recommend?
Yeah, you can literally spend your whole life on
I have done.
There is never an end time,
Yeah.
which is what makes my business or my kind of working life so difficult, because I can get really engrossed with it. I would suggest, I think before when I talked about setting a time aside to plan things for the month or for the week, we will come on to a great kind of social media scheduling tool, which would really help you. So I always sit down on a Monday morning, you know, 9 o'clock, I sit down and I'll spend an hour or two planning things for the week. So I'll make sure that hour is just spent making sure I've got posts scheduled for the week or the next 2 weeks. But then what I'll also do is maybe midweek, I'll spend kind of an hour just kind of going through and imaging and spending some time building followers. So I wouldn't probably suggest spending kind of half an hour each day if you can help it. I'd try and plan things from maybe Monday morning and tap in again kind of midweek.
Okay. And does everything have to go through Facebook, or not necessarily? Because my main tools are Instagram and Twitter, and those are the only two. So probably when we get a bit further on, would there be a tool that I could use that I could post simultaneously to those?
Absolutely. Yeah. We'll come on to that. So.
I love you, Vicky. Thank you.
It's gonna make your day.
Thank you.
Okay. And then kind of find out what is trending, which is really important. So with social media, you've got trending days of the week, and you've also got trending days of the year. And you can literally just Google trending kind of hashtags or hashtags days of the week, and you'll see that you'll get kind of Thirsty Thursday, Feel Good Friday, Wednesday Workout, and it's really, really good for you to kind of use these hashtags within your posts now and again, to kind of introduce your charity to kind of a new audience. And then kind of hashtags throughout the year. There'll be some that are based around charities. So again, have a look online, pull those hashtags out, the ones that are relevant to your charity, and put them in your social media strategy, and make sure that you're tapping into those key trending hashtags. You'll also find on each channel, particularly with Twitter, there'll be trending hashtags every single day. So again, entirely up to you if you want to look at them daily or look at them every other day, but there'll be topics that people are talking about in real time. So again, maybe have a look at that. It should be on the right hand side of Twitter as you log in, and you can kind of just look at what's featured, or I think you can press read more or something like that, and it'll give you everything that's going on that day. So again, a really good kind of tip there to make sure that you're talking about what other people are talking about, so you can really get your kind of charity brand out there. Again, share other posts, so it's not maybe all about what you're posting, and trying to always think about what to post, but you can also share other posts, which would also help increase your brand awareness on social media. So again, I've spoken about kind of Twitter lists that will really kind of help you to easily tap into kind of your audiences, well, your key partners or the industry media, and they can really kind of help you to easily find some great topics that other people are talking about that your audience will really benefit from. And you know, these other charities or these other individuals will really appreciate that, and it just does help to show kind of you're supporting them. And if you're sharing their posts, it's likely that they're going to be kind of more engaged in your posts as well. It's also good when you are sharing, you'll see with Twitter, there's a kind of a retweet or a retweet with comment. It's always great to add a comment and to add your kind of individual thoughts around kind of what they're doing, which is good. And then kind of scheduling your posts. So we will come onto the tool in a minute, but again, as we've just talked about, scheduling your posts at the beginning of the week is always going to help you to kind of save a lot of time and just helping you to be kind of more organised and more planned in terms of your social media campaign delivery. So just particularly with Facebook and Instagram, they've done a lot over the last year to really support charities in helping them to get their kind of charity out there and encourage kind of fundraising, donations. So I just wanted to look at these sort of quite briefly, just to give you an idea on kind of what both of these channels are doing. They both work in sync together. You'll see I've got a link here at the bottom, which is how you can kind of sign up to get involved in everything around what they're doing for charities. It's all free, so there's no cost, but I definitely recommend that every charity gets involved in these tools and features that they've introduced over the last sort of 6 months to a year. So with Facebook, you may see that your friends on Facebook are creating birthday fundraising posts, and it's a great way for kind of others to get involved and encourage fundraising for your charity. The donate button, again on Facebook, you can easily just add a donate button that links to wherever you like it, and that might be to your website or it might be to keep people within Facebook, whatever that might be, but you can add that donate button onto your Facebook page. So page fundraisers, so you can create particular separate pages based around maybe a campaign that you're running, and you can create a unique URL for that as well, which is great when you're kind of promoting it out. So it directs people straight to that page rather than having them go to your Facebook and then find the kind of fundraising campaign that you're running. And fundraiser sticker for stories. So Facebook, very recently, but quite recently, have introduced stories. You may or may not have seen, but they are great, and you can have a fundraising sticker on your story posts, again, which then links back to your fundraising page. And you can add a donate button to live video. So if you are a charity that does live video, I hope you all do or are thinking about doing it, you can add a donate button there as well, which again directs people straight to your fundraising page. So that's Facebook. And then Instagram, they obviously with their stories, you can share posts which are kind of 24 hours, and you can add a fundraising sticker on there. Which again, you can link back to your either Facebook page or your website. And this is a great way to kind of talk to your audience in real time and get them on board very, very quickly. You can add an account donate button. So your Instagrams should be set up as a business profile. And when you've got your Instagram account set as a business profile, you can add a donate button to your profile that sits on the top. And live donations. So again, if you're live on Instagram, you can encourage people to kind of donate, and you can talk to people again in real time and get them to really kind of get involved in your campaign.
There's a question here, Vicky, saying, is this just for registered charities or not-for-profit CIC organisations too?
Sorry, yeah, it's both. Yeah.
Both, brilliant.
Yeah. Okay. So building followers. Obviously, we have talked about using kind of the search functions on each channel. We have talked about using hashtags to try and bring people to your account profile. Again, there are lots of other ways of building followers. Website icons. I see so many businesses that have not updated their website icons. They're on Instagram, but their Instagram icon is not on the website. Obviously with TikTok now, I don't know if any of you are using TikTok, but making sure your website icons on your website are there and they're up to date. Really important to help you to kind of build your following, to encourage website visitors to connect with you on your social media channels, and make sure they're prominent. Don't hide them in the bottom right hand side corner. You know, make sure they're easily seen, and you're encouraging them to connect with you on social media. Your email signature, again, you can create a graphic which include all your kind of social media icons and links to your social media channels. Really important, the amount of people maybe that you're emailing and not sharing with them that you're on social media or using it, or what they can maybe expect from your social media channels. It might be you have a little kind of introductory line to really encourage them to connect with you. Again, on your email campaigns, so if you're regularly sending email campaigns, making sure you've got all of your social media sort of connect icons on there. And also with some email campaigns, you can add a share, a little kind of strip that says kind of share, and they can share on their social media your email campaign. Marketing materials, so people are still using QR codes actually to encourage people to follow you on your social channels, particularly with Facebook. I know a lot of people still do that. A QR code will help. It's a kind of a little, it's a square kind of, looks like code, and you just scan with your camera and it takes people directly to your social media channels. They're free to use as well and to download. You can just Google kind of free QR code, download, and then it will come up. And channel keyword research, again, we've spoken about using the channel search functions and thinking about kind of your keywords. Again, it might be good to maybe go back to kind of your audience profile and using some of maybe those keywords to help build your audience. And connecting with your customers, partners and networking contacts. So I know a lot of people kind of miss out on this, and it's really, you've got your connections there, put them on a spreadsheet. Get connecting, get people that you're connected with, you know, export your Outlook contacts and really get kind of connecting and engaging with the people that you're regularly speaking with. And connect, follow experts and leaders in your industry. So if there are kind of organisations that you really look up to, or there are kind of other charities that you quite like what they do, or you kind of want to engage with kind of individuals or charities, just connect and follow them and regularly engage in their posts and share content if you think it's going to be worthwhile. And I say, yeah, engage with posts. So making sure you're not just posting, but also engaging with your audience. A little kind of creative here that I've put together. So stand out with visuals. Obviously, stock images, they're not great. They're not engaging. They don't grab people's attention. They can be pretty much quite boring. So think outside the box, be fun, be creative, and stand out from what kind of maybe other people are doing. But always make sure your visuals are relevant to what you're talking about. So yeah, so two really great tools that are free, that I would suggest you all go on and have a look at. They're really simple to use. Again, so I use these a lot for the kind of when I'm working with small businesses and they want to kind of tap in and get involved, then I recommend these two tools. Canva is a really great free graphics tool, and again, it is really simple. And it's not just for helping you to kind of create visual posts. They also have the templates to create your social media banners. And a lot of people I know struggle with trying to fit a particular image inside the social media banner frame. Canva have the templates already there, and you can create and you can be creative as you like. So you can add your logo, you can add some text, you can add a great other kind of visual, or it might be a tagline. So you can create different elements and import your logo and whatever you like into these banners that the template is already there for you. Literally all you do is download and add into your social media channels. And they cover Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. So not just banners, but they have the templates for the posts. Really great tool, and I can't recommend it enough. I have created a blog around Canva. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, it's on my feed. It's a really great tool. And you can actually now produce short videos. So you can use their different elements and their visuals and their images and add your logo in, and you can create kind of short little snippets. And again, this is all free. It's free to use. Unsplash, great for kind of natural photos. I'm really anti stock pictures. I'm all about kind of natural photos that resonate more with your target audience. Unsplash again is free. They're basically images that photographers have added to the tool, and you can search by theme, and they're really easy to download. They do recommend that you quote the photographer that has taken the picture, but it's not a necessity. But yeah, Unsplash is great for more kind of your natural images.
There's a question here. Should you use different content for different social media platforms, or use the same photo message?
You can use the same photo, your message might be slightly different. You might have maybe more of a younger audience on YouTube and on Instagram than you would maybe on Twitter. With LinkedIn as well, I know they sometimes can kind of limit you on you know, how many kind of images you use, and obviously with Instagram you can use kind of scrolling images. So yeah, it really does depend on what you're posting, but there's no reason why you can't use the same content. It just depends. If you've got a different audience on different channel completely, then you might want to kind of tweak them. But I also suggest posting at different times as well, and not just promote, you know, sending one post out to all your channels at the same time. So maybe just mixing up the time will help you to kind of reach a larger audience as well.
There's also another question with regard to the video length for social media. Is 15 seconds length the key length to stick with? It is challenging to talk about the issue within 15 seconds.
Yeah, I definitely no more than 30 seconds for a video. If you're doing a live video, I would probably recommend going for a bit longer. When you're doing live video, it takes time for people to jump on and start engaging. So live video, you might want to do maybe 2 to 3 minutes, but definitely with video, stick to no more than 30 seconds. It's important that they're short and sweet, and you're kind of you know, you're not blabbering on and disengaging people that are kind of watching it. But it's also important as well, when you're doing the video, make sure you have a call to action at the end. So don't just talk about something and then say thank you, you know, goodbye. You know, say, you know, it'd be great if you can kind of get involved. You know, here's our website. You know, connect with us on Facebook. You know, see our blog. Always have a call to action at the end. Okay. Okay, so few social media tools. We have talked about Canva and Unsplash. Hootsuite, I don't know how many of you are aware of Hootsuite, but Hootsuite is a great social media management tool. Hootsuite will help you to send your post out once to all of your channels. So what I would suggest, you can add 3 different channels under the free version. Any more than that, it's something like £15 a month or something like that if you had more than 3 channels. But when you do sit down, say on the Monday morning, you can schedule out your posts for a week, a month. You can schedule them out at different times. You can tag everybody within your posts. And then all you need to do is sit back and let Hootsuite send your posts out at the different times and the different days that you've set. You can add in your images, you can add in your videos. It really is a great tool to save a lot of time. So you're not posting on Facebook, then going to Instagram, then going to Twitter. So it's a really great free tool, I say, unless you're using 3 or more social media channels. Bitly is a URL shortener. So sometimes when you're posting, you might not have the kind of shortener link within the post. So if you just type in Bitly into Google, you can literally, it's free, you can literally copy and paste your URL into the section, shorten, and then it will just automatically copy the link for you. And it just brings down, particularly with Twitter, when you've only got a certain amount of characters, you don't want to use all of that up with a really kind of long URL. But Hootsuite does that for you as well. It will shorten your URL. We've talked about Canva, we've talked about Unsplash. Google Trends is another great tool to see what everybody is searching about. So this isn't just great for kind of if you're writing content or if you're optimizing a website page. It's also great for social media to also tap into some of the kind of key maybe content areas that you want to talk about, or it might be kind of hashtags that are trending. It might be a news story, it might be something going on within your kind of industry. Whatever it might be, Google Trends is a great tool to see what people are talking about, and you can tap into the trends that are having the most kind of impressions. So measure your performance, really, really important. So as I say, always start off with a strategy and a plan, and then every quarter go back and analyse, refine and improve your campaign performance. Hootsuite have some great tools and insights. You can pull off reports every month or every week, and you can see how each post has been performing, how your followers are growing. You can download those or save them to your computer. You've got your social channel insights. So every social media channel have their own insights functions. So you can kind of log in to your social channel, click insights and see, you can select the date range, and you can kind of compare. Maybe you had running a campaign and you wanted to see how it was performing over the last 2 weeks, what posts were doing better than others. Is video more engaging than our kind of content and gifts maybe? And then you've got Google Analytics. So if your end goal is that you want to increase your website visits by 50% over the next quarter, sign up, get your website linked to Google Analytics, and you can log in there and see how many visits you've had to your website from each channel. So it might be that Facebook has had 200 visits and Instagram has had 1,000. Well, that's probably telling you that you should probably spend a bit more time on Instagram if your end goal is to get people onto your website. And just some key points to remember: have a plan, have a strategy and a plan. Will really, really help to kind of deliver the best return on investment, and make sure you're speaking to your audience in the right way at the right time. Uniqueness, so always thinking about how you can be different. You're thinking about kind of ideas that you can come up with to make yourself stand out from maybe other charities, other similar charities. Storytelling, really, really important that you're telling a story. People really resonate with that. So make sure that's a key part when you're putting together your content calendars. Get creative, so be really visual, be fun, be interactive. As I say, you've got Canva now, you can go on and have a little play, create some great standout graphics, and make sure you're consistent. So you're not just posting once a week and then leaving it for a week and then going on the next week. So making sure you've got consistent posts going out and you're consistently engaging. Keep on trend, again, really important. Making sure that what's trending on social media that you're always tapping into and staying ahead of the game. TikTok, as I've mentioned, a lot of businesses that I'm working with are saying, well, no, it's only geared towards the 18 and 24-year-olds. It's not for us. It might not be 100% for them right now, but it's all about preparing them and getting ready to launch a TikTok campaign for when they are making big changes and really tapping into kind of the business world and the more mature market as well. So it's always important to kind of keep on trend and look at what's coming up. Go live, again, going live on social media has really, really, really benefited a lot of businesses and charities. And I know sometimes it can be quite scary, but just try it out. Try it out on your own at home, or try it out with some colleagues, and really, really, really look at tapping into that. I think it's really, really powerful. And use video again. Videos can be all sorts of things, from kind of online events, or you might be running a fundraising campaign, or obviously events now on as they were. But thinking outside the box now. Obviously, times have changed. How can we really capitalise on video to really kind of make an impact? And use the tools. Obviously, I've given you some great tools, so really do have a look at those. They will kind of really, really help you with your kind of social media content and visuals. Create an impact. Obviously, kind of a really important one. Making sure that your messages are really kind of empowering people, getting people on board, getting people interested. And always kind of keeping that in mind, mixing up your messaging, not obviously you're always talking about the same thing or in the same way. And targeting, obviously social media, it's not just about naturally gaining followers, but you can also be really, really targeted. You've got your audience profile, like how do we reach these people and start connecting, start engaging. Review and refine, again, going back to a strategy, reviewing and refining and making sure that, you in the next quarter, or you might want to do it monthly, make sure that you're kind of refining based on your kind of performance insights. And just a little kind of example here.
Sorry, Vicky, do you mind if I stop for a second? I'm just aware of the time, that it's 10 past.
Sorry.
And that I understand that some people might need to leave. So if you do need to leave, no problem at all. I will record this until the end and I'll send that out to you. But it's been some really great stuff, so I haven't wanted to rush you along.
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you.
So I won't tap into this in a lot of detail, but I think this just shows how they ran a social media campaign based on a really kind of trending topic on social media. So they got involved with that trend. They were they were unique, they were creative, they were really visual, and it really, really kind of worked in terms of helping them to gain supporters to encourage donations. So I just thought it'd be quite nice, and there's kind of a simple way of how a campaign can really make a difference. Sorry, I'm done. Sorry.
Don't worry at all. I've got, before we open up questions to the floor, I've got quite a few questions that have come in that I think are all quite relevant, if that's okay.
Yeah.
We go to the top. So should the charity generate their own hashtag topics to be unique and promote it repeatedly? For example, British Heart Foundation has a hashtag called Heart is Power. My response to that one was yes, because you made the Clare Foundation create one, make Bucks happy.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's really, a really, really good point, actually. So yeah, always think about how you can obviously be unique when you're creating your own kind of hashtag, and always research and make sure there isn't any other business or charity using it. But yeah, absolutely, always create your own hashtag and make sure it's on your social media profile, within your posts, and it will help to become a trend.
Next question is there a recommended ratio of other posts to your own content? This person shares lots of posts related to careers advice from others. For example, Forbes probably doesn't post enough about what their own charity does.
Okay, so mixing your messages up. So I would definitely probably have kind of posts about your own charity 80% of the time, and then tap into kind of what other people are doing about 20% of the time. I think it's really important that you do share, and I think it's all about quality, not quantity. So if that ratio kind of differs a little bit, I wouldn't worry about it, as long as what you're sharing, your audience are going to find really, really relevant. So don't worry too much about quantity, but think about quality.
Next question is, are there any generic charity hashtags that you can recommend?
There are, yeah, I will add them to my slides, shall I? And then you can share them out.
Sounds like a good plan. And the last one is TikTok likely to be banned because of data protection?
Yeah, I know there's a lot going on in America at the moment around this. It's still all up in the air. It's always almost worth keeping tabs on. I mean, I don't know the answer to this at the moment. Obviously, there's a lot of controversy around it. But as far as I can see, it's still a social channel that's going to make waves.
Brilliant. If anybody has any questions, do feel free to unmute yourself and ask away. Oh, there's lots of questions in the chat, so we may have covered all the key things.
Yeah.
On that note then, thank you very, very much, Vicky, for a really informative session with us once again. Really appreciate it. And thank you everybody for coming along. And I know we've run over a little bit, but I think it was worthwhile given the content. I have made a recording of this. I will send it out to you along with Vicky's slides. I've got a day off tomorrow, so it will probably be Thursday before you get it. But yeah, thank you very, very much. If you do have any questions and you want to hang around to ask Vicky, then please do. If not, thank you very much for coming, and I will see you all soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay, and people begin to drop off, which is always a sad moment. Okay.